Welcome to the Awaken Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Nancy Walters. Get ready to create magic and miracles as you lean into your heart's desires. I believe not only does the heart want what it wants, but it knows. This show is a weekly deep dive into what it means to live from an awakened heart. I'll be sharing inspiring stories and real conversations with people just like you, who have turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. My mission is to show you how you too can be connected and heart-centered in every area of your life. Your journey to aligning with more love, more joy, and your wildest dreams come true starts now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Awaken Heart Podcast. This is the 99th episode of the Awaken Heart Podcast, and those who have followed along from the beginning, I appreciate you being here, man. It has been quite the discovery along the way because this started in April of 2020 when my eyes were not opened at all. We know what's happened in the last couple of years, boy. But here we are, we're still standing and we are wrapping up this year. It's mid-December. We've got 2 more weeks to go. 2025, I really feel like it's going to be a great year for everybody. Today's episode of the Awaken Heart Podcast, I'm thrilled to sit down with Brenda Ridgley, a transformation coach for midlife women and author of Lady and the Tribe, How to Create Empowering Friendship Circles. Friendship is so important with women. We need our female friends more than anything. Even if we're married, we've got husbands, we've got boyfriends, you got to keep those women's circles sacred. And as we go into midlife, a lot of people have maybe lost the friendships maybe that they grew up, went to high school with. The kids are grown, they're out of the house, they're raised. So how do you create, we change so much over the years. How do you create women that are, friendships with women that are more aligned with the person that you become? Brenda and I dive into the importance of building deep, meaningful friendships and fostering a sense of community among women. We explore the transformative power of retreats. She has some fabulous ones. And her next one, the Whole You Retreat, will be in Breckenridge, Colorado from May 15th to the 18th, where you can create new connections and surround yourself with a like-minded tribe of women. You can allow yourself to be nurtured with the feminine energy and love in a judgment-free zone. And that is coming up in May. When we spoke, she had just had one in October in the same place in Breckenridge, Colorado. And she had just come off a retreat in Costa Rica where you could see during the interview how zen. So if you're listening to this recording, go on over to the video portion. You'll see her glowing. She's in zen coming off that retreat. Literally, she had just come off that retreat. Retreats really do something. They just reinvigorate you and I've gone to some and it just really sets me on such a great path forward. And you leave with lifetime friendships after you spend so much time together. You learn so much about each other. You get pampered together and it's just fabulous. So there's transformative powers with retreats. And we talk also about the struggles many of us face in maintaining authentic connections and how vulnerability plays a crucial role in creating those bonds. Brenda also opens up about her personal journey in rediscovering herself in midlife and shares practical, heartfelt advice for women ready to prioritize friendships and self-care. This conversation is an inspiring reminder of the joy that comes from creating intentional connections and being part of a supportive tribe. Hey, Brenda, welcome to the Awaken Heart Podcast.
Nancy, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, I'm so glad we were able to work this out. There's a little bit of a mishap as far as scheduling, but here we are. Thank you for being so flexible.
It's just life, right?
Yes, and you're so flexible, and it was actually my mistake. So here we are. You're coming from Colorado. I'm in Michigan, and you are glowing, as I said just before I hit record, because you just came off one of your fabulous retreats. You have another one coming up soon in October, but you just came off your fabulous Costa Rica retreat, and you were saying that you were able to have a lot of downtime for yourself and the other facilitators there. And I looked at the schedule and the itinerary. It just looks wonderful. Costa Rica. We'll go into later on what your offerings are, but I'd like to hear a little bit about your retreat and how you bring all these women together, the lady tribe, as you call it. This is almost like a culmination of everything that your book, A Lady in the Tribe, and then you have a subscription membership course. But this is like the retreats are the culmination because it's actually what you're talking about in your book and in all your programs, all coming together with all these wonderful women. Can you just kind of give a little highlight of your trip that you just
Yeah,
took?
I'd love to. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. It is a culmination of everything I am passionate about. The book that I wrote a few years back kind of established me in the coaching industry as a midlife women's transformation coach. And with that, I've always been big on girlfriends. I mean, ever since I figured that out, that was what was missing in my life again. And I created retreats for my girlfriends for many years. And I would always hear from other women they'd see our pictures on social media. Oh, that looks amazing. I
Mm,
need that. I want to go. How do I do that? So that's kind of how just the, you know, seed of the whole thing started. It was like, I wanted to be able to share these important experiences with more women and help women on the path of their midlife transformation. Our lives have us kind of pigeonhole into our roles as wives, mothers, and even our career can be so overwhelming and demanding that we kind of go all in. And we have this way of just putting the blinders on and focusing on everybody else and everything else and neglecting our own self and our own self care. And so I love to bring the women back together to kind of ignite their spirit again,
mhm.
figure out what they're passionate about, because a lot of times they don't even know anymore. We're told what to think and what to do and what to say, and things are coming at us all the time. And over the years, we've just kind of buried our why, what really gets us going and why we do the things we do. And throughout our weekend retreats and week-long retreats, we just peel back the layers of that onion
Mhm,
together in a very supported,
mhm,
non-judgment zone, you know, f- community of women, our tribe. So that's a little bit about it, and
mhm.
love just supporting women in that way.
Wonderful. How many ladies did you have on this retreat this
We
time?
had a total of 12
Oh, they're
in Costa
perfect.
Rica. And we try to keep it an intimate size,
Yes.
anywhere from, 10 to 20-ish, kind of
Mhm.
that's the sweet spot.
That's really nice because it's more intimate and each lady can really get to know each other and leave with lifelong friendships. And now, is it a diverse group from all over the world, or did you have more so from, the United States? Where were a lot of your ladies in from?
We have mostly been from US, but
Hmm.
from sea to
Hmm.
shining sea, absolutely,
Wonderful.
for both retreats. We have had some Canadians come to Breckenridge a few times, but yeah, we want to be worldwide, wide and global destinations, but mostly it has been US so far.
Some sounds wonderful. I want that glow that you have
Well, you
because
should
I
join
know
us.
I would love to. I'm looking at this. I'm like, this looks good. I could really use something like this because I know after coming back from events, you're just like walking on air. It's pretty amazing. And I love your book, Lady in the Tribe, How Creating Empowering Friendship Circles. How to create empowering friendship circles. I find that women friendships are so important. I've been lucky because I've carried a lot of mine through decades. And I find I've moved a couple times recently, and it was really hard initially to not have the friends that I've had for decades and a long time. We're still friends, but as we get older, everyone gets married and they move away, they create their own families, and then you don't get to see them anymore. So there's time for new friendships. And I find a lot of times I'm finding one of the great places to go right now for me is like I've gone on Bumble BFF. I just moved back to Michigan. I'm like, I just need some good girlfriends to go and do a few things and enjoy my being back in my hometown And, you might meet with a couple, it's like dating, and then you don't necessarily click with some, but now I have at least three good girlfriends that I'm able to get together and do more things with. So you mentioned how building deep connections with other women creates a tribe of support. It really does. And as we enter this midlife, as which a lot of us are going to at some point, whether we're there or not, things change so much in our environment, our marriages, our kids, we're empty nesters, we're re-examining, our purpose in life and what we really want in our life. We've been so busy raising family, we've been so busy with our careers, and now it's our time. And you had lost yourself over the years, and that's what inspired you to write this book because you became lonely and your friendships had all become superficial. We need deep friendships. So, can you share your personal journey of feeling lost in your roles and how you found your way back to yourself?
Oh, I'd be happy to, Nancy. Thanks for asking that. And, as far as midlife, I don't think it's a number at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
It's an experience level, it's a maturity level, it's, a readiness to embark on, whatever's next for us in our life. So that can happen, over 20, 30 years. We can all consider ourselves in that, ge- genre there. So anyway, my experience was I used to have a lot of friends. I've always been kind of the social coordinator, the one that makes things happen and pulls things together. And there had so many things, in high school, college, and after college, even when I just got married. By the way, one statistic says that when you get married, that's the biggest drop in friendship you'll ever
Mm.
have. And you think you're bringing two families together, two friendship groups together, and whoa, it's all going to be bigger and better. Well, that's when all of our lives, just like you said, start going in different directions. And it really is, not intentional, but we start losing touch with many friends, losing some altogether, and some of them just become less and less available. So that's, when I became a mother, I just really started to let myself go. And I don't mean the weight gain and the
Mm-hmm.
yoga pants every day and the makeup free look, even though all of those things did happen. But what I mean is I just slowly started letting go of my stuff, my
Mm-hmm.
passions and the things that lit me up. Instead of hiking, I would make sure the kids were doing activities. Instead of art or pottery or writing, I would make sure the kids were all in their art classes and being developed. And instead of my friendships, lunch dates, breakfast, happy hour, it was play dates. I mean, really for decades, and nobody asked me to do that. Nobody asked me to let go of everything. It's just something that I was compelled to do as a mother to be the best mother ever. When I became a mother, I actually told people that my purpose in life is, now I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to raise this child to make a difference. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe, and I still believe that, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought, when I do this, check. That's the big check.
Mm-hmm.
We go through our lives with all the check marks. High school, check. College or school, whatever, check. Get a career, check. Get married, check. Buy a house, check. All these things. Hey, in midlife, at the end of midlife, when our kids are launching into their next chapters, we've checked all the boxes. And that's where I felt back about 8 years ago. And I was just kind of wandering around in this, what I call midlife funk, where I was just like, you know, outside looking in, everything looked great. I had it all. If you really wanted to look at it, why did I have this like icky feeling of dissatisfaction in my gut?
Mm-hmm.
I had so many things to do. I was over, calendared with everybody else, other people's priorities. I didn't want to do any of it anymore. I could hardly get myself out of bed. I started just asking the universe, what's next for me? What do I do? My kids are leaving soon, and I had this total panic moment because I started creating moments as they were leaving and heading out to school. I wanted to, like, let's do this and let's do this. So let's create this memory and all these things so that maybe they'll just come back. But anyway, I floundered terribly, and it was probably the worst period of depression in my life, and couldn't understand it. I actually wrote a letter to the universe asking, hey, you know what? I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe in putting down my resistance and allowing and setting my boat in the water and going with the current, and it'll take me where I need to go. But I feel like I'm in the middle of a lake with no current, or I've been dropped in the middle of the ocean and the only way out is to row, and I don't know which direction to go.
Mhm.
Help, I want to live a life of passion and fullness again. I
Oh,
want to get excited about my life again. And, my letter was out, and, things don't always come right away back to you.
no, they don't.
But I did started Googling what's wrong with me in midlife. And that's when I kind of started seeing the theme of loneliness. And you could have never convinced me, Nancy, that I was lonely
Hmm.
back then, right? Surrounded by people 24/7, hundreds, if not thousands of friends in social media. How could
It's a
I possibly
disconnection
be
of
lonely?
yourself.
Yes. Nobody really knew me anymore. No, they saw the holidays and the new cars and the, you know, pets and funny stuff and positive memes and all that great
Hmm.
stuff. But I didn't post the muck of the reality of my life, my worries, my fears, my failures,
And
you
those are the
know?
things that will connect you, as I'm sure you've learned later on, is
Yes,
that
yes,
vulnerability, is the struggles, is what another woman can see within themselves.
absolutely. And that's what I had lost with the friends that I did have. It had all become so superficial. I just stayed connected with a number of my high school and college friends, but it was all very superficial. And I just made a decision when I figured out this must be it, that I have got to change this. And I started reaching out to friends that I hadn't seen for a long time. You know, the ones you see once a year and you go, we should get together soon.
And then you don't.
And you never do. And I said, I've got to see you. I miss you. Can we have lunch, please? And they all said yes. I mean, the handful that I reached out to. And it was like, I told them where I was at and what I was feeling and what I needed. And they said, wow, you're describing me. I need that too. And that's kind of what inspired the book. And since then, everything. It's all because of that.
So a lot of the women that you had lost touch with, a lot of your good friendships or the people that you've known a long time, social media, everyone puts on this, oh, my life is perfect. Here, look at my food. And like, it's so superficial. A lot of people, I am seeing a lot of vulnerability in like Instagram. They're really showing themselves. And that's, like I said, that's how people connect. So then when you did reconnect with other people, you were like being vulnerable and sharing how you really felt. And then you got that aha from so many other people. And then this idea was sprung to write this book. And look at you, you have retreats now, you have all these different programs, all these amazing speakers. I think that's pretty incredible. Um, so, so you wrote this amazing book. That was the first step. So you started writing this book and then you created everything around that. So that inspired you to write this. So how did building a tribe of supportive women impact your life?
Well, you know what? For the first time in a long time, I finally felt like I knew where I belonged, where I fit in. And that sense of security, having people in my life who knew me, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and loved me anyway, was the reason I could take big risks, you know, and do some crazy things, which we won't even go into today, but start coaching, transfer my, education in training and development from the corporate world to women. I wanted to help people. I wanted to help individuals who I believe, women, I believe, and the Dalai Lama agrees with me, by the way, that the world will be saved by the Western woman.
Mm.
And I would go as far to say as the midlife and beyond Western women, the women who have had some life experience and had some hard things, but still have that empathy. Look for win-win solutions, are compassionate, and always choose collaboration over competition. So it's created my mission to send that message out into the world and help women figure out what that is for them, because I believe that every one of us was brought here with one very unique gift that's for us. to share. And only we can share it, but we got to figure it out. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
help women find that for themselves and then help them on the path to put one foot in front of the other on some big, crazy goal of their own.
So, why do you think so many women lose themselves in their roles? And how can friendship circles help them reconnect with their true selves?
I believe that a lot of people just get on that treadmill of life, of all of the things coming at them that they are just dealing with, you know, and their own stuff that they're passionate about they just don't have time for it. Everybody wants a massage, right, Nancy? Everybody wants to do
I could use one
yoga or
right
some
now.
kind of movement, right? But do we do it for ourselves? And especially moms with mom guilt.
I've
I
got
hear this all
ice
the
on my
time.
back.
Oh, see, yeah, you want it,
Oh
Nancy.
my
You want it,
God. I've
but
been
we
worked.
don't
I
make
need,
time for ourselves, and we just get so stressed with financial issues and relationship, family dynamics, and kid stuff and work stuff that we just don't put ourselves on our own list, and it's a common theme. I mean,
mm,
I love the younger generation. I see them doing things a little differently and being a little more selfish. And self-care is not selfish, but that's
mm-mm.
kind of the way, we thought of it, or I thought of it. And it is like, and I hear from women all the time, I don't want to spend money on me. I want to take family money to do a retreat or to do even yoga classes. And I'm like, oh, gosh, your family wants you to be whole.
Yes.
They need
Yes.
you to be whole, right?
Yep. Yes. Because it's filling up your own cup and then giving from the overflow. Because if you're depleted, just like the airplane, when the oxygen masks drop, you're supposed to put it on your face first so you can take care of others.
And
And,
you asked
it's an
French.
energetic thing.
I'm so sorry.
What was that? No, go ahead.
Yeah, you asked and how that relates to friendship and how they can support. Well, first of all, when you know where you fit in and who your people are, it will allow you to take some bigger risks than you normally would because you have a soft place to fall
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't work out. But
Mm-hmm.
you have a cheerleading team just going, go, 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 Nancy, go. And then when things don't work, they're gonna if they don't work out, we fail forward. It's not like it always goes smoothly the first time. Failing is just quitting. But as
Mm-hmm.
long as you keep moving forward with your dream, you're going to get there. So our friendships do that. And I, am of the mindset that, a tribe of women is not this girl gang that goes clubbing together and hangs out all the time,
It was
right?
fun
It's fun and you can
back
do
in the
those things.
day.
But every woman's tribe is unique to her. So my tribe consists of myself and five friends. Like, one's my sister, but they are all in each other's tribes. You know what I mean? They are my circle of support. My sister is the gal that just she'll show up anything I'm doing. She'll be there, no matter what. Then I have, Jane, who is my happy hour friend, and we love to shop and we love to just hang out and be together. And then I have a fitness, someone who I do hikes with and things like that. So you look for a tribe members that
Mm-hmm.
support different interests that you have, areas of your life that maybe your spouse doesn't even want to do with you, things that you can do with the girls.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So 5 close girlfriends, they all like to do something different. Now, does your tribe integrate together? Because I know I used to live in California, and we spent long hours in sets. This was like the late 90s, early 2000s. So we spent time before we had cell phones and before, like, maybe we had a pager. We didn't have phones. We didn't have the internet at our access. So we were able to really develop some deep, lasting friendships. And we did club and we did do the Hollywood heyday. It was so much fun. And we still have deep relationships, and we still do a lot of things together. But I can see that now where I'm just happy with, they'll still be my friends, but locally having people that you can go and do the things that you like to do, and they don't necessarily have to do them all together. I like that idea because I do have some that might not necessarily want to go out for a cocktail, but they like the outdoors and biking or walking. And it's just so alone time is wonderful, but the female time, there's nothing like female friendships, I find, because we can relate to each other. We have a lot of the same experiences. as, love, having our heart broken, as far as what we go through, like women that have had babies or have raised families, they can relate. And now we can relate to menopause. Like my friends, we get together and we used to talk about boys that we're dating. And now we're talking about our well, we don't have, a lot of us aren't menstruating anymore, but, we talk about our cycles or we talk about bowel movements or we talk about nutrition or we talk about like the latest. It's so funny how it's changed and evolved when we laugh at it.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely do get my tribe together. I mean,
Hmm.
so that the group social thing happens for sure. I try to have a monthly kind of like
Hmm.
we call it women who whine. You show up for a evening happy hour once a month. It's on a set date, or day of the week each month, and everybody shows up with a bottle of wine and or an appetizer. We just share, and we just visit for a couple hours and we go on our way. So that's just another touch point.
Hmm.
But your friendships are built on one-on-one relationships,
Hmm. Yes.
not group relationships.
Yes.
Group relationships just kind of is a added bonus and just another way to grow it.
Yeah, because you build one together and then you bring them in with another one that you might have built your one-on-one time. And then maybe they're going to see, maybe they're going to be friends when we're all together and maybe they'll branch off and become friends. That's wonderful. I always love it when friends that I introduce together, they become friends and they do their own thing together and then we do things together. So that kind of thing can definitely happen. So you've mentioned defining intentional connection, like, wait, intentional connections. Can you define what an intentional connection is and what steps can women take to build deep, meaningful relationships?
Absolutely. I think we have all been victim at some point to the myth that friendship should happen organically. You've heard that, right? It
Hmm.
should just happen,
Yeah,
We should just,
you have to work at it.
yeah. But no, that doesn't, nothing's wrong with you if you're not finding friendship organically. That's not what we do as adults. As
Mm.
adults, you actually have to make an effort. Friend is one word, but friendship is a verb.
Mm.
Person, place, or thing, friend. A verb means it requires action. So I say you add the ship to the friendship. It means you have to keep it moving. You need to do something to propel it. So being intentional is like setting those dates, together and protecting that time together and making sure your friendships are a priority. Your friends are the family you choose, and they are the people in your life who love you, but they don't need anything from you, like most other relationships that we have in our life, right? Our
Hmm.
family loves us, but they frequently need something from us. But by intentionally finding friendships and building those connections, we have that support person in our life that just appreciates us. And that's why we're in their
Hmm.
life and that's why they're in our life. Right.
Hmm.
So the intention part is just avoiding the neglect that may have happened in the past. Anything important in your life you put on your calendar, right? Usually doctor's appointments, work things, whatever,
Hmm.
business trips. You really should get your calendar out and block time for friendship. If you
Hmm.
need to find friends, you need to block time for friendship finding, going exploring things that interest you and meeting new people. If you have friends that have either become, more superficial or the ones that are really you're strong with, keep it that way by getting them on your calendar on a regular basis and kind of, you've heard book a meeting from a meeting, maybe.
Hmm.
Don't get out of that lunch chair without setting your next appointment with your
Hmm.
girlfriend to catch up. And when you're there together, when you have that special time, because we all are so limited in our time, when you're together, agree to put your devices away.
Hmm.
We are
Yes.
constant. You
Here,
go to
put it in a
lunch, you
bowl.
see, yes, you see everybody with their phone in their face and just say, hey, I'm here with you for just an hour. I'm so excited to be with you. Can we just put our phones away? Let's be together. Let's not waste it. So those are a few things that how I would start with being intentional, but there's many more.
Yes, and that phone thing, it's like, okay, look at our table. Why is everyone on their phone? Okay, okay, take a picture and then let's put it away. Put it in a bowl in the middle of the table because yeah, we have limited time. So for women, as they get older or things change within their life, as it changes within their life, and their experience has been more like you said, raising the family. You didn't think you could take time for yourself. A lot of like yoga or buying that dress. No, no, no. They think it's selfish. And then they found themselves, maybe they have isolated, raised the family, been with a husband, school, and now they're gone, or they're in school full time or something. And now they're looking at, okay, these shoulds aren't feeling very good. I'm not feeling very good about myself. There's something missing. There's a void. I'm getting depressed, whatnot. So, as far as finding friendships, new friendships, what advice would you give? And where is a good place for them to go in order to start seeking out new friendships that might, help them blossom into their new life that is laid out before them now, since things are changing so much in their life?
Right. Well, you said a great word, go. That's the first
Mm-hmm.
step. You have
Mm-hmm.
to get off the couch, get out of your
Yeah.
house and go out somewhere and get away from your screen and away from social media and find things that interest you. Something that maybe you've let go of. What did you love to what do you used to love to do before you BC, before children and career? What did you love to do that you haven't done in a long time? Was it art, dance, aerobics? They don't even call it that anymore. But what drove you and interested you? Find groups that do that, hiking or bird watching or anything. Find a group and just start showing up. A great resource is Meetup. There's all kinds of meetups all over the world where you can find people that are doing things. Just go in there and search for things that you are interested in. Find a group locally that does those things. Show up at least 3 times, because the first time is kind of awkward and everybody's kind
Yeah.
of nervous about that, right? And it doesn't feel that great, to be honest. And then the second time, okay, I'm starting to recognize a few people. Third time, you're part of the group. And that's when you start really, making stronger connections. And when you're out in new groups and new situations, this is my fast track to friendship. And it's so simple. We all worry about what we should do or say to be interesting so people will like us, right? No. Show up, and instead of deciding to be interesting and trying to figure out how I'm going to be interesting, decide to be interested. All you have to do is say, hey, we're at this pottery painting class, and I used to do this when I was in college, and I love it, and I've been away for so long. Why are you here? Tell me about you. You just sit back and listen. Listen attentively, nod your head, ask follow-up questions, let them talk. How many times do you really feel like when you're in a conversation, people are even listening,
Mm-hmm. And you
right?
can
Because we're
feel
always
it.
thinking about the next thing we're going to say, or something sparks an idea, and we are just kind of talking at each other, right? So just listen. And guess what? They're going to ask you about you when they've finished.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can share as well.
Mm-hmm.
Get out, do something new, explore something you've never done before, right? Maybe you want to volunteer for something. Maybe you want to build a house for the homeless. Maybe you want to help rescue animals. Those are all things that you can get out there and feel really good about what you're doing. And you're going to meet other people who care about that too.
I like what you said about listening, being present, and somebody that they're really listening to you and they're responsive. It's a space that they're holding. They're giving you the gift of their presence. And I don't find that often. And when you do, you hold on to it, because some of them are just waiting for the next thing, or there's somebody, you say something and then they don't even respond to it. They're just putting their input about their experience about what I'm talking about, without even like, oh, well, I did. Did you even hear me?
I know. I know. It's a practice skill to listen because
It
we are
is.
not used to doing it. In my workshops and seminars, I talk about this a lot. When we do breakouts and we share with each other, the role of the listener is just to actively listen. Do not offer advice. Do not say anything. You can ask a follow-up question for clarity, but otherwise, wait till they're finished and then just say, thank you for sharing.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing.
And it's hard
As
to do that.
Yeah, because as women, we want to, I mean, we want to fix things. We want to help. We want to give our advice from our perspective. But did they ask for it? They're trying to share. And I've heard sometimes it's best to say, well, how would you like me to support you? Would you like advice? Would you like me to just listen? Would you, you can ask that. But I notice myself a lot of times trying to rush in there and try to fix things or, well, you should do this or, what does he do? Like giving my advice without really finding out what she needs in the moment. Just offering your presence and being heard can so impact the other person's life so much. So that's
Absolutely.
the beautiful gift of the presence.
Yes.
Yes. So what are some challenges that's common with women? What are some of the common challenges that women face when they're trying to build empowering friendship circles? And how can they overcome them?
Well, I think it starts with fear, fear of being weird. Say, hey, you don't really have any friends and you've got a few social media connections that are local. Why don't you invite them to meet up for coffee? Oh, that'd be weird. That'd be weird. It's uncomfortable. Fear of rejection is another big one. So I think most of the things that are holding people back stem around fear. Also being just overcommitted in other areas, other people's problems and projects that you don't have time for friendship. And you have to address that and fix that if it's important to you, and it should be important to you. There's all, the fear of sharing too much with someone who can't hold that information correctly, that maybe past betrayal of a friendship really jades you for feminine friendship. So that's something that we have to work through because we've all been hurt in a friendship that we didn't set up correctly with the correct boundaries and the correct conversations of being confidential and what that means and what that looks like for you. If it's not set up, a lot of times things are shared that aren't meant to hurt us, but it hurts us because it's holding confidence, and that's what we thought it to be. All about expectations and setting up right. But if we've been hurt, we can't just exist there and I'm not going to be friends with women anymore. I only have guy friends. I've heard that. We have to work through it and figure out how to get past it and also how to set up a friendship so that you can grow in confidence and depth and meaning and be completely authentic.
Yeah, it's the fear that's stopping a lot of women and how important it's important to have vulnerability. So how important, I think this is so key. We need to be vulnerable. Because when we're vulnerable, it's really powerful. It's actually a feminine quality. How important do you feel that is in creating and maintaining meaningful relationships?
Well, I think it's absolutely essential for your tribe. You're not going to exist on that communication field, which I call the confidant, with everyone, the world, maybe. But with your tribe, you need to be able to have that level of trust to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is really a dance. You don't want to go too deep too soon with new relationship, right? Have you ever been overshared with before, and you go, okay,
It's like,
sorry
oops,
about that. That's
here I
really
am.
I gotta go.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Just too much too soon.
Yeah.
It's a dance. I share a little of what's on my heart, and then you share a little of what's on your heart. And I share fear that I have or a failure. And then one day you have something like that you want to share with me. And it's a dance. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper into that dance to the point where I really know you, Nancy. I really know you. I know what makes you tick. I know what you love. I know what you die for. And I support you, and you know me and all my flaws and all my imperfections and all my craziness. You still love me. So that's the vulnerability is the only way to get there.
And that also brings to point, there's some people that you try to build a friendship with, and you think, this has happened to me in the past, where you think they're on the same wavelengths as I am, or they are, and you think everything's going swimmingly. Meanwhile, they're creating cases in their mind about you. I've had a narcissist, like literally when I found out what she was thinking or saying about me behind my back, was like, whoa, okay, I can't have that in my life. And then there's people that aren't reciprocal, that we're always the instigators to go and do things or to reach out or to communicate or to text or try to get together. And it's just, or you have the people that are flaky. You try to get together with them and they back out at the last minute and don't try to do something with you or create the time that you need to nurture friendships. So, what would you say as far as somebody trying to build a friendship and it's just not working out with them as friends? How can a woman let this potential friendship that's kind of toxic for themselves, how can they release this and let them know that in a loving, kind way?
Yeah, there's a lot there to unpack. I mean,
Yeah.
I talk about the friendlies in my book, and that's a group of friendships that probably are circumstance based and aren't really going to grow in depth, because when you stop showing up at that spot, the reason that you got together, it goes away, and so the
Mhm.
friendship goes away. And then the energy vampires, and there's all different
Mhm.
levels of that I share in Lady in the Tribe, of like what that could look like and how that can show up for you. And as far as the inviting piece, we all like to have that be kind of reciprocal, but it doesn't always work that way. Some people are just more of the inviters, and some people are just more of the show uppers. And if it bothers you to be the inviter all the time, it's important to have a conversation. I just feel
Mhm.
like, do you love me as much as I love you? Because I feel like
Mm.
I'm always inviting, and the other person's probably going to go, oh my gosh, yes, I love you as much as you love me. I just always love doing what you want to do, and you have such great ideas. And I just don't know how I can think of these things. And,
Mhm.
just get it out there. If those kind of friendships are happening, literally said, I think I love you more than you love me.
Mm.
And it's always received well, because you're just being vulnerable again
Yeah.
a little bit. They don't want to hurt you. But as far as the toxic or like relationships that really aren't serving you, and maybe it's someone's been in your life for a long time, or maybe not, and it's harder to shake them. I have two strategies for that. Because if this is a person in your life, like it's a family member, someone you really just have to, really do care about, it's just some of their behaviors aren't making you feel good about yourself or whatever, uh, or just don't feel good. If they're important in your life, you need to have the tough conversation
Mhm.
that I feel like this when this happens with you. And this happens a lot. And I understand you're going through a lot right now. And I want to be there to support you. But when all we talk about, when we're together and all this just comes crashing in every time together, it's hard for me. And I either need that to change a little bit, or I just need less of it. So I'm going to put the ball back in your court and say, what do you want to go? Where do you want to go from here? I
Mhm.
love you. I wouldn't be having this conversation with you. You weren't important to me, because I'd just be out of here. Right.
Mhm.
But you are important to me. So let's talk about this.
That's such a beautiful way because you're coming from a feeling place, you're coming from your experience, and you're offering something positive at the end. A lot of people are you, and it puts somebody on defensive right away.
Yeah. And on the other hand, if someone you just say, I've had enough, this person is not my person, and they're probably still going to be reaching out and calling you, you just become less and less available.
Mhm.
There's no reason to get ugly or have a breakup or whatever. Just become less and less available,
Mhm.
and they will find another target.
Another target. Yeah, I had an instance where being vulnerable, moved back to town, somebody I've been friends with since I was probably 4 years old. Years worth of friendships. I mean, I don't expect her to drop everything after I've been gone for 26 years, but I had hoped to have seen her a little more, at least instigate some get-togethers. The last couple I tried to, and it had been months since we saw each other, so I expressed that in a text message in a nice way, and I didn't get a response. And so 2 weeks later, I called just to make sure that didn't get lost through text. Like, I wasn't mad. I was just like, I is the friendliest way and da da da. And I never heard from her again. I was stunned. I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, I was just trying to express how, I'd love to get together more. I had hoped we would. It's hard to make new friendships, especially lifelong ones. And I reiterated that on the phone call. Never heard from her again. So I don't know what's going on in her world. That was hurtful, but it's still something like that shouldn't discourage you or another person from expressing them in a way like you had talked about, coming from a feeling place of yourself and how it makes you feel. So that was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, that is hard. And that you're right. It's not really about you, probably. It is probably about her. And I recommend that when people are speaking up from their heart in something that could be in any way misconstrued, to do it by telephone, you know, at least, if not in
Mm-hmm.
person,
Mm-hmm.
so they can hear your voice, so they
Mm-hmm.
can really take the inflection and the way
The tone.
you mean it. Because no matter how well we write a text or a letter, even, no matter how many times we proofread it to make sure it's coming across right, it depends where they're at when they
Yeah.
read it, how
Yep.
it's going to land,
Yep.
you
No, I
know?
agree. I agree. And that's why I followed up with a phone call anyway. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll see her down the road, but it'll be fine. But yeah, I was a little bummed about that.
Yeah.
Okay, just a few more questions before we go. I would love for you to tell my audience about encouraging women to prioritize friendships. What message would you like to share with women who struggle to prioritize friendships amidst their busy lives?
Yeah. Well, the first step is just realizing you want more friendship in your life, realizing it's missing or something's missing, and kind of taking an inventory of what of the relationships in your life and how many in your life do you have, people in your life do you have that don't need something from you. Your boss needs something from you. Your coworkers usually need something from you. Your kids certainly need something from you, and your partner probably needs something from you. If that's your network, then you really need to take a close look at expanding that. And if you struggle with it, there's help out there. There's other coaches besides myself that really specialize in helping you take those baby steps that are uncomfortable and coming up with strategies to help you find what it is for you and the kind of people you need in your life, and helps kind of design your friendships before you even get them. You can literally start the creative process just by saying, what area of my life do I want to expand? Maybe my partner's not really interested in this and I've let go of it and I'd like to get back into it. I need a friend or that wants to do this or that's interested in this. And if you're a journaler or if you're not, just start writing my friend as if it's in the present.
Mm-hmm.
Susie is my hiking buddy. And we go twice a month to different places. And, she loves to help me. You design what you need and what you want, and down to what color her hair is and all that, where she's from. It's just incredible. By putting it out there into the universe like that, you
Mm-hmm.
have activated,
Mm-hmm.
and that person will find you. And when you see that person, you will recognize her and go, that's her. So just starting the creative process and starting to open yourself up, open your calendar up, and do something that's a little scary and go show up places without anyone else. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
have someone with you, your kid or something, that it's just the focus is off of that. You want to become a magnet
Mm-hmm.
to new relationship opportunities. I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, you
that's where I would
absolutely
start.
did. It's like the law of attraction. We always don't ask for things, you act as if it's already there. And that really can, like you said, it's like you're visioning and you're drawing the person to you through that. And then I like the recognition because you've already created this person that you want to meet. It's the same with relationships too. And they'll find you. That's a beautiful, I love that. They'll find you and you'll recognize them. Like,
Yeah.
hey, it's you.
Yeah.
No, it
Gives me
absolutely did.
goosebumps a little bit just thinking about it.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, I would love for everybody to, I know you've got some programs and you've got some retreats coming up. I would love for you to share how people can find and work with you and maybe join some of your, maybe your subscription membership and your fabulous retreats that's coming up in October.
Yes. Thank you, Nancy, for asking. So I do
Hmm.
host a quarterly retreat. And we usually have one in the fall and in the spring in Breckenridge, Colorado. So that we'll have October and May. Those are 3-night, 4-day intensives. I mean, there's lots of time for pampering and self-care, but also you're going to come out a different person from this weekend with a new purpose, a new passion, and a new drive for everything you've got going on in your life. So it's very powerful. We attract the most amazing women to these events that all are like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I want. And they come out of it just on a totally different track. We're going to be hosting our Costa Rica event at the end of July every year. And starting in 26, we will be hosting, I have not found the location yet, but a beachfront property. So that's, so you can find my website, BrendaRidgley.com. And you'll find all the retreats there. You'll find all of my coaching packages and opportunities. And Nancy mentioned a subscription. I do have a monthly program called the Discovery Tribe, and it's very inexpensive. It's a group coaching scenario, and you get to connect and have your own little tribe of women that meet monthly. And we work on one personal growth topic, self-exploration topic every month together. And it's just beautiful. I love it. So yeah, BrendaRidgley.com. And may I offer a free gift to your listeners?
Sure.
Okay. If you go to BrendaRidgley.com/free book, you can actually download a copy of Lady in the Tribe.
Wow.
Complete copy. And you can read it. So
Well, that's awesome.
there you go.
Free book. I'm going to put that as a distinctive link in the show notes. So make sure to definitely click on some of those links and find out how to work with Brenda. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for coming on today. I do have one more question before we leave, and that is for you. What does it mean for you to live with an awakened heart?
Wow. Great question, Nancy. Because I truly feel like that's what happened to me in this process. I awakened my heart, my spirit, my purpose. And what it means is living with joy. Having a regular dose of joy infused in your life on a regular basis. Happiness comes and goes with things in your life. And sure, happiness is wonderful, but that joy is, I think, definitely a piece of the puzzle when it comes to living in an awakened state, because you can see it, you can recognize it, and you can relish it when it comes to you. So yeah, absolutely. The awakened state is really see everything just a little bit clearer. And for me, I feel like with a little more compassion as you look around.
And you can always find someone that's in a state of joy. It's such a resonance, and they don't have to say anything. They can just walk into a room and just joy exudes out of them. It's like, what has she got? I want some of that.
I want some of that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope my audience members look for you and work with you and keep spreading the joy. Keep spreading joy all over the place. Lady in the Tribe. Create your own beautiful friendships, your tribe of wonderful, empowered women. Thank you, Brenda.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Awaken Heart podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, head on over to your favorite podcast app to subscribe, rate, and review. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, you can reach me at theawakenheartpodcast.com.